when it comes to developing good LSAT questions, I've often thought about the layers of complexity involved in an LSAT question. So there are ways they could make a question more difficult by maybe requiring a student to take the contrapositive or to link together conditional statements or to navigate tricky words like unless. Have you noticed anything in terms of parsing that out in your analysis of questions?
No, I think you're exactly right. Uh, Contrapositive is a common trick they use to disguise things. Um, um, yeah, there are a bag of tricks. Um, a good example I like is when an item writer might be writing, let's say a necessary assumption item. Very often, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but what I would do is I would write the stimulus and then go eat lunch and come back and think of a counterexample. And then the key would just be not that. And so then to cover my tracks, I would have to make sure that there would be enough other answer choices that had negations in them. Or else you just, that would be a really, nice way to game those questions. So there are a lot of subtleties to crafting the items in ways that help to camouflage, the correct answer, that don't involve tricky things like contrapositive, but more straightforward. The other item writer's trick, comparisons. When in doubt, throw in a comparison because they seem plausible whether they're going to key or not. So always have some comparisons in your back pocket when you're trying to come up with some attractive distractors.
I love it. So yeah, this is exactly what I love to think about is the patterns in tempting wrong answer choices. I can imagine that there are certain you said there's a bag of tricks, and every now and then you pull out your old favorites and make that really attractive choice A, so then you never even get to the correct one.
Well, this is why I think it's a big adjustment for a lot of people when they study. They're so obsessed with trying to figure out what the correct answer is, but they should spend 80 or 90% of their time trying to figure out what the wrong answers are. Because those are the things you see over and over and over again, those distractor strategies. And the more efficient you are at getting it down to two answer choices quickly, I think over the long haul, the better off you're going to be. So yeah, that's exactly right. The distractor strategies show up over and over and over again. And that's the way I think to make the biggest improvement. Study those.
Awesome, definitely. So is that something that you work with students, you teach courses? Do you kind of break this down in terms of different distractors, or just showing students the patterns?
Just as we work through items, I'll point out that this is something you'll see quite frequently. The comparison says something like the lower the cholesterol level, the lower the blood pressure or something. And then an answer choice will say folks with low cholesterol have low blood pressure. And that distinction between an absolute and a comparison shows up all the time, right? So fortunately, the items themselves teach all these lessons. It's just a matter of, as you're working through them, like sightseeing, like bird watching. A lot of this is like bird watching. It really is. It's all sort of staring you in the face, but unless somebody says, no, notice the little tuft, or notice the band around the leg or something, right? And then once you see that, you can't help but notice it again. But yeah, it's all sort of obvious if you know what to look for.
Yeah, if you know what to look for, exactly. And so I think I love that example with the bird watching. You're kind of looking for those small details, those small nuances, and spotting what's the method of reasoning or the trick underlying a question to help you unlock it.